Welcome to the Wisdom and Truth. Look at this, 2 videos in one day. This video is gonna be probably the one to watch. Probably the one to watch. I don't even know what that was about. Oh yeah. To be given, prayer to be answered. You know, whatever happens, happens. It'll never fade away, no matter what the drama. It'll never go away. All right. So, as the title of the video, the truth to me. All right, and I'm gonna tell you what I see as truth, and then kind of explain how I got there. Okay. Truth to me is this. What, who, where, why, when is God? God is now. God is here. God is unconditional love. The how, we don't really know, right? And we'll get to know that. What's really important is the now. And why is God? Is because it's not good for anyone to be alone. All right, so when I say God, I use that term loosely. That's a man-made word. Granted, our whole world is man-made, but there's a truth at the end of the tunnel. The truth to me is that there's a creator, and that creator created life, and he created everything after that for that life. That life to me is what we all share. Every single last being on this planet, animals, that's all life. I don't think we should be eating meat because that's life. And that's a life that shares the life that we share. But I believe in a creator. I believe we are all his children, all of us, Satan included. And there's only one way I see the world, in the truth's eyes. And in the truth's eyes, all I see is fellow beings, right? And have I always been like this? No. Did I start out like this? Yes, we all did. As children, we didn't care who the person was that we were playing with, or, you know, whatever the case was. Those wasn't concerns of ours as a child. And, you know, I went through some tough times believing in the world's gods. I had trouble with accepting the fact, even though I tried hard, that the God in the Old Testament was a cruel ass God. And that, I can't be more honest than that. And that's before I knew what I knew today, right? So that's at the time of where I believed in good and evil in the same way that most of the world does. I believed in Satan like most of the world does. I believed in the Bible like most of the world does. Not really catching on to the inconsistencies and people saying God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. This life in truth is to awaken to who you truly are. And that's the truth. Because listen, there's nothing else. Name something else. Like, all right, like if life is not the, like if life is not that, is not, if life is not to figure out who we are, then what is it? Okay, what is it? Right? So is the truth that we find a career and go forth with goals and aspirations of fulfilling success in these things in our day that wasn't here 300 years ago? See, the truth that I know is that the whole world is an illusion, but it's an illusion of the truth. And we all see this truth, right? Though I listen, and I said it, I think, in the video the other day. The biggest problem I had in life growing up and like just like, you know, as far as like explaining things to people or finding out information, I assumed the person knew it. Right? When a Christian or a so-called Christian comes up to me and starts spitting scripture or saying God ain't this or God ain't that, and they're disagreeing with me and they're debating with me, I'm already assuming they read the book. But in most cases, they don't. Right? Because when I read the book, things stuck out at me. As far as like Jesus saying, once you get it, you're going to know greater things than me. But then I'm listening to the pastor saying, Jesus is the only Son of God. Jesus is God. Right? And does that seem fair? Is that fair? Is that fair to you? Is that fair to me? In a place that we were put into? Right? It's a different story if you made a choice. And though we may have made a choice, And I kind of lean on we might have made a choice. And it was more of a choice of where the Father came to us and said, listen, my friend, listen, my child, my son, my daughter, I need you to do something for me. And you're like, what? Whatever, Father, I'm down. And he says, I need you to go somewhere, but there's a catch. And he's like, man, I'm going to go, Father, wherever you need me to go, I'm going. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready. What's the catch? You won't know who you are. You won't know who I am. You'll forget all of this. Right? Feel that. Right? And you possibly could have made this choice. And like I said, I in some aspects, I think we did make this choice. Especially if you think like me, so to speak, and all you want is like just to see the world really like get that love that you know it needs, right? For people to truly understand we're all the same in the same boat and all have the same dreams and aspirations, right? Everyone wants a comfortable life. Everyone wants to be, where there's food on the table. People want a place to lay their head at night. Do we not all want these things? But yet we go through this life thinking that we have to get it first. Envious of that person already having it. In a work environment, thinking we need that promotion to be over everyone else. And the people that sometimes that thing goes straight to their head. And then they become a person that doesn't really care about the little guy that's really making them strive. Right? But listen, the truth is everything is here to deceive you. And let's say you made the choice and the Father said that to you, like, man, I'm going to send you out there, but you're not going to remember anything. But I'm going to be there with you. And there's going to come a point where I call you. And I'll probably be calling you the whole time. But where I'm sending you is going to try to drown me out. They're going to turn up their music, their frequency. So you can't hear me unless you really focus in on what it really is that you're looking at. Right? And how do you see that? Right? Because your eyes see something, right? And your life is instructed, so to speak, by your parents, and then the people that are influencing your life and the people that are, guiding you to a successful career in something, and helping you fill out your college applications and, whatever it is. But it's still only something that's telling you about the outside world, right? And as a child, all right, and if you remember back as a child, you'll know what I'm talking about. You saw a different world. You saw something different, right? Especially the first time you said to your mommy, that's not the truth. And your mom's like, shh, right? Because we're taught everything we know, right? The father was probably like, listen, there's going to be people that are going to mislead you. They're going to be blood related to you. They're going to be your mama, your papa, your brother, your sister. They're going to be someone in your life that's closest, right? And you're going to put all your faith into them, and they're going to lead you astray. That's why I say all the time, no one can ever bring you the truth. You have to come to know it by yourself. You have to come to know the truth. And when you come to know this truth, and I say this all the time, especially with the woke world that's out there, you're not woke. And look, when I did a video on TikTok and I said, say your name to yourself. Did you hear it? You heard it with ears that no one else could hear with. You said it with a voice that no one else heard. Right? And it got a lot of views. I think it's over like 200,000 views, right? And probably like 15 of, I don't know how many years ago, but KRS-One, if you know KRS-One, he came out with something and he was saying, say rock star to yourself. Right? And he gets a little deeper. He got some knowledge. He got some, he got some wisdom going on in him. right? And a lot of people commented at me on this video and was like, "Oh, KRS-One, you're not doing nothing original," but that I'm not coming in KRS-One way, so to speak. And to quite honestly tell you, I forgot all about KRS-One until that video, and they started messaging me because it's something that I've always played with all my life. With that, like I've always tried to figure out what that voice was in my head. All right, that instinctual voice that says, "Hey, man, this doesn't seem like a good idea. Something doesn't feel right. Hey, turn right instead of going left. Stop. Go." Like I listened to that voice, right? I listened to that voice. And I held on to that voice. And I held on to that who I was inside. Right? And listen, my name is Nakia, right? That's my name, Nakia. But I got made fun of a lot growing up. So, and that name kind of like my mom gave me that name, and it was like she gave it to me in a special way, where she had like the reason why she named me was for a special reason. That name, and I got made fun of a lot for that name. And well, before I go there, right? So just so you know what my truth is that we're all in this together. None of us are different in the sense of we're all on the same journey. There isn't evil in the world because evil needs your power to be that way. You are the power. You are the key. The reason and the biggest question I get is why would anybody lie? Why would science lie? Why would the government lie? Even though we all know they lie. Why would the medical world lie? Why would pharmaceutical companies lie? Why would anyone lie? Right? When they're trying to lead you to only get their product and spend your money. It's almost like somebody coming on YouTube or something and like, "Hey man, the world's gonna end tomorrow. Don't forget, subscribe, like, tell your friends." The fuck, you just said the world's gonna end tomorrow. Who the hell I'm subscribing to? Why am I following you? like, come on, right? Or they have some commercial, or I had somebody direct me to this Hebrew Israelite video, and the first 5 minutes of the video, they're selling their products. There's nothing wrong with it. Do you support your cause? But you can't go to make a change using the enemy's means. Do you understand that? You can't if if the world we live in, confirmed by every religion, by the way, confirmed by every belief system in this damn world that evil runs this world, even in the atheist world. Evil runs the world. If evil runs the world and money is the root of all evil, so to speak, why, or money, evil created money, right? That, let's say, put Satan's name on evil. Satan runs the world. Satan created money, and money is a false blessing that you think is your worth, but yet money is just a piece of paper. Right? In the situations that we have in the world, as far as hungry people, homeless people, and hungry, starving people in the world, we're saying we don't have enough money to feed them. Like we're saying we don't have enough inches to build the house. Do you understand that? Just saying. So my truth is that the truth is within you. No one can bring you to that truth. You listen, no one's coming to save you. That's the best way to say it, right? So if you believe in Jesus, you believe in the Bible, and you believe that Christ is coming back, a second coming, he's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you. No one is coming to save. I'm not saying nobody's gonna come from the sky on a cloud. I'm not saying aliens ain't coming down this mother ever. I'm not saying, I don't believe in the aliens. But I'm not saying they're coming down. I'm not going to say they're not going to be coming down. Who knows what's going to happen in our world? But what I can tell you for sure is none of what's coming down is here to help you. Okay? And that's truth. And I can prove that truth. Especially in Jesus' case, that Jesus is not coming back on no damn cloud to save you. Okay? Jesus left the breadcrumbs for us to get home. Are you willing to look at those breadcrumbs for what they are? Or are you just studying to find out who the world tells you Jesus is? That's the difference. It's just like research. When you research stuff, You're researching to find the answer to it. You're not studying it to find a specific answer. Okay. All right. So, truth to me is the same truth for everyone. Truth to me is I believe in a creator that's an unconditional, loving creator that can never end us. Can never end us because it's not our fault. He put us here for a reason. For a reason, he put us here. All of us, each last one of us. And that reason, more than any other reason, is to get to know who he is or who it is, who she is, whatever. Because I don't know if it's male or female. I just know there's a creator in our life, this temporary life that we all know is temporary because the only guarantee in it is death. This life is only to get us to where we need to be in his understanding. It's understanding, the creator, the source of life's understanding. I believe Jesus is the person of Jesus is a representative of the Father and that life he created. And yes, Jesus was a very powerful son of God that woke up and got it, and he left us breadcrumbs to get there ourselves. If you look at the world and all the influential people that we could know about possibly, Jesus said something different than every single last one of them. And everyone in our world today that claims Jesus contradicts Jesus in every single way. Especially if you consider yourself a Christian or any type of religious class, if you consider yourself a race, a nationality, a people group, a Republican, a Democrat, a blood, a Crip, it doesn't matter what you're representing. If you're representing anything, you didn't get it yet. Okay, you definitely didn't get it yet. So on the way to that, I got to this understanding of this truth. Okay, like I was saying, growing up, my real name is Nakia. I used to get made fun of all the time. I'm a mixed breed. I grew up in a black neighborhood with a white ass mother. And this was in the 70s. So, Martin Luther King just died. Malcolm X just died in the 60s. I don't want to say it was a tense time because I didn't see nothing like crazy as far as society wise in my neighborhoods. But you can tell that there was an elephant in the room, so to speak. Okay. Teachers hated me. They used to make fun of me. My hair was different. I had girly eyelashes growing up. Any mixed breed out there knows what I'm talking about. So I was outcasted since a child. Okay. So much so, and this is probably crazy, but so much so that when I was 4 years old, I wrote on my chalkboard in my bedroom, I just want to die. 4 years old. My mom was very smart, so she taught us. We played school a lot, so we were we knew our ABCs and 1, 2, 3s by the time we were 3. She personally educated us before we even stepped into any kind of education zone. And from just that perspective, right, I believed in Jesus because my mom also brought that into my life. And the most popular things I heard at my childhood was turn the other cheek, sticks and stones, and those type of things, right? And that's how I felt. I got picked on, I got jumped all the time, I got beat up all the time, and I wasn't mad. The next day I would go outside and look at the same people that jumped me yesterday and say, hey, what's up, friends? And they'll either play with me that day or jump me again. It didn't matter. But I loved them anyway. Okay. And I loved God, and I loved the story of Jesus. I love the concept, right? I was, like every child, you're scared of death when you hears about death. I heard about Jesus. He talking about eternal life. I'm down with that. Um, But then you start getting older. And then instead of just hearing the nursery rhymes and the little, the under 5 videos of Jesus and stuff, it starts getting a little more, you start getting the Moses stories and Exodus and the 10 plagues and things like that, right? And this always bothered me. Like, how can this loving God that tells us not to murder and love our neighbor, and he's killing everyone? Like, what did the Egyptians do? Couldn't God just say, hey, man, I'm taking my people, and walked away? Why did he have to make an example? Isn't he responsible for the Egyptians too? Right? And these are questions that kids do ask pastors and adults, and they dismiss it. If you're in a Christian environment, next time go wait till a kid asks a question and see how they answer the question, or tell a kid to go ask a certain question. So being that was like contradicting to me of this loving God that we're supposed to be following, that people are telling me about, that kind of doesn't even sound like Jesus, like what Jesus is talking about. So as we're going through that, right, we get older, right, and we start getting more information, more of the bullshit that they're feeding us, right? We come into the age of where we know Santa ain't real anymore, right? And then subconsciously, how do you know that don't mess you up? Your parents been lying to you from a little baby until the point that you found out Jesus didn't exist. And then they expect you to believe in a God they're telling you is there too. When some parents use Santa Claus as a discipline, right? If you're not good, Santa's not coming this year. Come on. And that's another truth of mine. I don't believe God is discipline. I understand the pruning of the tree type of parables, but I don't think God would like beat the shit out of you for you to get the message. Right? I definitely don't believe in beating your kid. That's for sure. Because that's almost like slavery, right? Who do you think the first slave was anyway? Like, being what you know in the world, everything you know in the world, from whatever you know about civilizations and stuff like that, especially when it comes to women and children. Okay. Women have had no respect from any of these organizations. From the Bible, they have no respect. In the New Testament, they tried to give them no respect, but Jesus put a stop to that. Read your scripture. He definitely stuck up for Mary and told those disciples, leave Mary alone. She's male now too. Then if you're saying only males can be up in this level of understanding, then she's male, and she probably understood more than they understood. Like, the brainwashing process starts with one of the 10 commandments when it says honor your mother and father. That shows you a man wrote it. It shows you a man came up with that. And you're like, no way, God came up with that. Are you sure? Are you 100% sure? Because imagine your parents were like serial killers or rapists or pedophiles, and they're teaching you the same, or child traffickers. You serious right now? So you're supposed to honor that? Or racist? Hey, I think that dude up Badoo is that dude over there, so you're Badoo Badoobies. Really? Honor your mother and father? So if your mother and father is Hitler, you're supposed to go and do the same? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. So I don't believe in the 10 Commandments as that reference. Why? Because when Jesus was asked in scripture, and I believe it, when Jesus was asked, what's the top commandments? He said, love the Creator and love your neighbor as yourself. Period. And in that, think about this. And this is one of my truths. In that, you can't see the truth that stands alone. Just in that. Because if you have unconditional love for the Creator and you have unconditional love for your neighbors that your Creator also has unconditional love for, and you're supposed to do the same as what your father does, maybe they're talking about honoring a different mother and a different father. And I could go as far as to say maybe it's Mother Earth and Father in heaven. Father as far as consciousness and the way you're thinking, and respecting Mother Earth, who provides for you, who nurtures you with the fruit from the trees, or the harvest, or the corn in the pasture, or anything else for that matter, for the milk from the cow, or the milk from the goat, or the milk from almonds. Are you serious? Or the honey from the bee, or the fly that helps you know that there's something stinking in the area, or the mosquito that tells you there's some water collecting in this area. Come on, man. Maybe it's not like that's why the Nag Hammadi text is key. If you're seeking truth, and listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, the shit sometimes gets a little weird, but it's only weird to what we understand. Right? We grew up in a culture and a society that tells us what's normal when no one really knows what's normal. Right? Where gravity is still a theory. Look it up yourself. You're like, no, what comes up must come down. You're right. You're right. And they saw that and named it gravity, and it's still a theory. Yes. Right? You believe in a God, right? You believe in a God. You believe in a God, right? But yet you still call the planets after other pagan gods. So what do you see? The truth I accept or not accept. I don't accept truth. The truth that I look at that stands alone is different from the truth that the majority of us accept. Hey, the sun is 93 million miles away. I accept it. Hey, the sun is a ball of fire in space. I accept it. Hey, the core of the earth is like 3,862 miles deep. I accept it. Even though the deepest hole in the earth is only 8 miles. Oh, I accept it. Why is it only 8 miles? Because it's too hot to dig any further. I accept it. Hey, Jesus created Christianity. I accept it. Paul built churches though. Yeah, but Jesus told Paul to do it. Oh, and I'm gonna bring this up because I was gonna bring up. I wanted to read the story of the first time the temple was destroyed. Okay, and all the other times in Jewish history that Israel was conquered and someone else put other gods in their temples. As now, right? As now, what sits at the Temple Mount, the mosque, right? Islam sits there. But you still believe Revelations is something that's coming, or has it happened already? Has the desolation happened already, or not? Like listen. Sometimes I think I be tripping. Sometimes like I'm like, damn, maybe I'm just tripping. I'm looking too deep into it, right? But damn if this didn't happen already. Oh, damn if it didn't happen again. As far as Israel goes, as far as the temple itself, it got destroyed twice, right? And just like Ahaz, was it Ahaz? Was it one of the kings of Israel, or Abram? Not Abram. Ahab, right? And he ended up bringing these other gods into the temple. Come on, man! Like, that's why Jesus said, "Live for now." The kingdom is now. Why? Because if they got you thinking about this, it's almost like I said. I'm pretty sure I said it yesterday in the video or earlier today. Listen, when I was a child, 47 years ago, and coming up, they always talked about the future for the children. When I was a child, they were fighting for the future of our children. Did it happen? Did I miss something? Because the children are still going through the same BS. The racism is still here. The division is still here. No one is waking up to the ultimate truth. And the ultimate truth is we're in this together. Period. We're in this together. And the only way out of this true second coming of Jesus, of Christ within you, the true second coming is when we all wake up. It's not going to happen any other way. And that's truth. There's no one set to go to hell. There's no one set to go to heaven. Jesus didn't even preach a heaven or a hell. Heaven is a state of mind. Hell is where we live now in our current state of mind. where we think others are better than us or others are worse off than us. Oh, look at him. Oh, or oh my God. Oh my God. Woohoo! Can I get your autograph? Listen, I just heard this story, right? I work at a concert place. The concert place I work at is called the Stone Pony in Asbury Park, okay, New Jersey. Bruce Springsteen is known for playing here, okay? We always get, when certain bands come on that like Bruce is connected with, we always get, the rumor Bruce may come, right? And people will flood. This dude told me this cop, one of Asbury police officers, told me a story. Or no, my bad. It wasn't a cop. It was actually a guy just walking down the thing, and we were making a joke, and he said, "Who's playing?" And we said, "Bruce." And he was like, "Really?" That's how excited they get. So he tells us a story. He said, "Man, you know what's crazy? One of Bruce's closest friends died in the area. They had a wake and a funeral, and there was a book, right, that everyone signed. You know, when you go to the wake and you sign the book, someone stole that book because Bruce's name was in it. Out of 380 something names in the book, they stole some dead man's memory book for Bruce's signature. What does our world come to? Like, really? Listen, and Bruce is an awesome dude. He's an awesome musician. There's a lot of songs that are still popular. Even though I came across a kid, I was like, "Yo, Bruce Springsteen." He was like, "Who the hell is Bruce?" I was like, "Get out of here." Did I reach that age that this kid don't know who Bruce Springsteen is? Right? I had to play the Born in US. I had to play the song for him. Oh yeah, I know that guy. Oh my God, this is getting real. Anyway, that's our society, man. Our society. Listen. It's almost like people that are waking up now, right? Start getting with those people in your immediate areas that are waking up also. And I'm not talking about on no Bible study. Let's meet at church. We're going to build a building and we're going to start making this order. No, that's not that. No, please no. That's not what I'm saying. Start fellowshipping together. Start maybe having a barbecue, right? Invite some of those people over or vice versa, right? Make a community. Right, make it a community of where, hey man, I'm going to BJ's. Let's pool our money together, right? Or if you're a farmland type of person, hey, listen, look at the prospects of let's start making this self-preserved. What are you trying to make money for? What are you really looking for? Seriously, like who sold it anyway? Like who sold all the apple trees? Who sold all the orange orchards? Like who sold these things? Who sold the farms? Right? Why is that everyone doesn't have access to growing their own stuff and having this? Listen, I'm not asking for a lot in our evil ass world, or you like, and this is something that also when you think about it like that, right? When you think about government programs, welfare, uh, uh, food stamps, what else is it? Housing, help and stuff like that. What is their real incentive on ending it? The same incentive that it is for ending crime, right? No crime, no jobs for cops. And that's another tragedy. No more jobs, tragedy. But the truth stands alone, right? What's the end? Like I ask myself all the time, what's the end game, right? To money. What's the end game to this, right? And then you get these religious people and they're like, hey, God made the doctors to make the medicine. Really? Because why would God even make us to be sick? See, you're living in assimilation, and the assimilation is somebody else's ideology, right? How do you know? And this is gonna blow your mind. Not that I'm bringing you like something I could prove, but just this thought can blow your mind. What if, see, because I find it a problem with the Cain and Abel story in Adam and Eve. The Adam and Eve wasn't there to show their offering, right? There's only 4 people on the planet at the moment, or so so it was seems in that situation. Where was their offering? When they all have to go together. Now, being that they wasn't there, who was Cain and Abel offering to? Was it Adam? Just think about it. Now, if you look into the Islam story, you will see a different story as far as, I got to read it again because I don't think it had to do with offerings. Either way, Cain and Abel both had sisters, twin sisters in their story. And Adam was going to switch sisters with sons. Cain, maybe his sister was more beautiful. Whatever the case is, Cain was in love with his sister. But because Adam was going to pull his rank and say, no, this is how it's going down, honor your mother and father, Cain got upset and killed Abel. Doesn't that, like, not for nothing, that story makes more sense to me. I don't see myself killing somebody because somebody didn't accept the offering. Well, fuck them then, right? I'm walking away. All right, cool. You didn't want it. I'm out, right? But not going to kill your brother because, like, what was the reward? Like, these are things that are missing from the story that you should be asking yourself. What was the reward then of the whole sacrificing thing? What was the reward? Was there money to be, like, was somebody getting a Gucci outfit? Was there $1 million sweepstakes? What was the reward? Just to please God with blood sacrifice? The creator that I believe in, my truth, he don't need a blood sacrifice. Jesus, and this is another far-fetched thing. All right? Now, you know how everyone says Jesus died for our sins, and I agree with that. But what sins were they? The world was already sinful, right? Jesus' closest friends and family, right? He had a couple brothers walking with him. His mom was always there. That saw everything he did, witnessed it, was taught by Jesus how to do the same things, resurrect, heal, feed people out of nothing. And when Jesus got hung on the cross, they all ran away. So when Jesus said, "Forgive them for they know not what they do," who was he talking about? Because the Jews knew what they were doing. Pontius Pilate knew what he was doing. He had a conversation with Jesus in reference to it. Well, I have to listen to Caesar. Isn't that what he said? The people are the one that was chanting to kill Jesus. And all those thousands of people, he went in towns, whole towns, and healed everyone. Right? The centurion Roman guards was coming to him that controlled thousands of soldiers. All knew he was real. All experienced his healing and his resurrecting and his the life he was here to give in abundance and unconditionally. But no one said one freaking thing when they put him on the cross. Not one thing. Besides this one boy, the disciple he loved, which, if you didn't know, was Lazarus. And I would have been there too if I was Lazarus, because Lazarus was raised from the dead. So there's nothing else that's gonna. I'd rather be next to him on the cross. Man, he took me away from paradise and brought me back, and now he's leaving, and I gotta stay behind. He was at the hood at the front, right at the foot of the cross. One man, and the rest was women. There's even speculation in some scriptures and some circles of other scripture out there that tell you that the one that he loved too, which is like definitely out there, but it's not. You can't deny it. That one, the disciple he was talking about was his son, Jesus' son, and you're like, oh yeah, don't listen. You got to read before you even say, oh, all right, before you read, like dig into it. There's stories of Jesus in a gay situation, so read it. It ain't gonna hurt you. It ain't gonna hurt you at all. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. There's no book that they took. Listen, I read a lot of books. Okay, I think I say that all the time. All right, but there's no book that they took out of the Bible There's no book that they didn't allow in the Bible that is not useful for you, right? Every book is a good read, 100%. All right, even the Adam and Eve books. I was thinking about this today before I made this video, or before I started this video. And maybe I'll read it in a video in the next week or so. But the book of Adam and Eve, though more than likely it wasn't written by them. But who knows? We don't know. We don't really know. But it was almost like, all right, so in the beginning, it was like Adam kept trying to kill himself. Okay. That's like the total beginning of that book is Adam just kept trying to kill himself. I gotta look for it. But Adam just kept trying to kill him. He drowned himself. He jumped off a cliff. Like he did all these things, and Eve just followed right behind his ass. Because they just wanted to go back where they came from. They realized they were tricked. See, because that's why, listen, if they were going to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, were they good or evil prior to it? How can they act in ignorance, not knowing what they were going to do? See, free will is something where you get the options, right? And then you make a choice. They lay it out, boom, 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 and you get the choice, right? If I'm trying to think of a good free will example. See, God gave you a will, right? We call it free will. That will that he gave you, he cannot control. Do you follow me? He can't control it. He can't control it. He can guide it. He can't control it. I could even go as far as to say he can't even influence it. Why? Because and it's the same for Satan. So everything I'm saying about God right now is the same for Satan. All right. So Satan can't control your will, nor can he influence it. Understand what I'm saying? God gave you a will that Satan nor himself can mess with, influence with. God, like, has no control over you. Right? Have you ever seen an angel or a demon? Have you ever seen an alien? Not a UFO, because you got to understand what UFO means. Unidentified flying object. And that's not an alien. Okay. But we haven't seen it, right? I haven't seen personally an alien. I haven't seen an angel nor a demon. Though I had an imaginary friend named Charlie when I was growing up that saved my life probably like 3 times. That my mom was aware of without me saying to her about Charlie. But that's a different story. But I didn't physically, it was more like a shadow figure, so to speak. It was just, it's hard to explain. Hence, most of the religions in the world, because people do know the truth, but it's hard for them to explain. You only can explain something through what you know. It's almost like Paul. Paul could only explain Christianity through what he knew already, through the Jewish traditions. That's why he built churches to copy the temples. Gave them a place of worship. Gave them some literature, like in the Jews' case, right? They had their scrolls. But being that we have never seen an alien, being that we ain't never really, like, we could have comprehended a situation of being a spirit or a demon or something like that, but we have never seen that physical thing ourselves. Nor has any paranormal show, nor is anyone chasing Bigfoot, nor is anyone chasing aliens. They can't give you no hardcore evidence, because if there was hardcore evidence, there would be no more interest in it, so to speak. You would have interest for a little bit because it's new, but then it would feel, oh, there's an alien again. Like, it would become repetition. But being that we've never seen those things, how can you assume they exist? And I say that for this reason. There's only one way for Satan to come into this physical world and for God to come into this physical world. And that's through us. That's truth that stands alone. That's my truth that I understand it as. And that's truth that stands alone. If you do your research, you may come across that same truth. Even if you read through scripture, it's the same thing. Just so you know. Right? And pagan folklore myths, whatever you want to call it. I think, Zeus was a real person. But in their stories, they were always possessing husbands, having babies with women, stuff like that. So being that they both only could come in through you, what's your power then? The Father gave you the power. Jesus said that he gave authority to the Son. He gave authority to the Son. That means authority to you to judge yourself. The Father can't judge you. The Father can't condemn you. He can't. That's not an unconditionally loving creator. So it's either you're believing in an unconditional loving creator, which Jesus spoke about, and every place that Jesus is mentioned, not only just in that Bible, I'm talking about every place in the world that Jesus also is mentioned. That's the bottom line of it all. Right? Or you believe in the creator that chooses a people and makes it a point to instill fear in those people. Right? That people's God said, I'm a jealous God. Even in Exodus 34, I'm pretty sure he says that name is jealous. His name is jealous. That's not an unconditionally loving father. Right? The unconditionally loving father is the prodigal son story, where the son's like, Dad, I don't want your ways, I want my own way. And the father says, all right, here's your inheritance, go. And the son went, sowed his oats, ended up in a pig pen, said, hey man, at least the dudes that work for my dad sit and eat at his table. I'm in here eating with pigs. I'm eating the slop out of the pig pen because I'm a servant, because I left my father's. I'm gonna just go back to my father's house, beg him for his mercy, and and at minimum, I'll become his servant. And at least I'll eat at his table. And the guy saw his son coming home and he rejoiced. You got it, man. Yes. That's the father. That's true. That's the father. That's the truth. And the only place, it doesn't just say that in this place, in this Bible place. It doesn't just say that. It says that in evidence of what you can see around you. Right? In my journey of truth, I started noticing nature for different things, man. Like, you ever think like there's domestic animals having diabetes and high blood pressure and shit and on medications, right? But you got wild animals out there chilling, one leg missing, tail got stuck in a trap, they ate their tail off, but they're still alive. Like, come on, man. See, the world has made you feel like you're broken and you're worth nothing. And the Father's telling you you're worth everything. The world is saying, oh, you got sick? We got medicine. Oh, I'm going to just go pray to the Father, like it says in Scripture. But no, they go, or I believe you. I'll take your medicine. You ever heard of the placebo effect? And how effective it is? And it's ultimately in what you believe. So if you take something you believe it's going to help you, guess what? It's going to help you. And I got some funny stories as a teenager where we used to like play tricks on people. I'm talking about like fake alcohol tricks. Make some sour ass shit and say it's like the potentest of all times, and people really become drunk. Like, like and me and my friends are just like, yo, I can't believe this is going down right now. Like, seriously, like, there's no alcohol whatsoever, but these people are like falling all over the place, doing things they would regret in the morning. I'm dead serious. Like your mind is like, you are so powerful. It ain't even just it is not even your mind. You are so powerful that you don't even know when you manifest. Like that's how dumbed down they have you. Almost like if you believe there ever was cavemen, that's how dumbed down they got you. If you believe one day a caveman just like the wheel, that's why maybe it's a little hard for you to get to that truth, because you believe this stuff. Why would listen? Especially you can't believe in cavemen and believe in the Bible. You can't believe in evolution. You can believe in them because you believe in whatever you want to believe, but you're gonna come up to a point in those two beliefs where they're gonna start contradicting and butting heads. What does that mean? Well, if you believe in evolution and you think, something evolved into humans, then what's the Bible story to you? A lie? Which one is lying? Were you made from God out of the dust of the earth, and Eve was made out of a man's rib, or were you evolved out of a monkey or something, some sort of Neanderthal, whatever they're saying these days? If you believe in the Bible and you think we were cavemen, then when Cain killed his brother and got like exalted out of the little place they were at and had to go to the area of none, he built a city, named it after his first son. How'd that happen? Caveman. Or the technology from Egyptian times or Mesopotamian times, or what they were even talking about. Right? The truth I believe in is, like I said throughout this whole video, because that's the purpose I'm making this, is just to bring what I believe, right? The truth that I believe. And like I said, there's 7.6 billion, whatever the population of the world, points of perspective on how to get to that truth. So my perspective is my perspective. I'm not here trying to bring someone to the truth, because no one, and understand me clearly, no one can bring you to truth. No one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. But no, the saving yourself has nothing to do with this world. Right? So it's not, when I get a better job or when I get something saved in the bank. It's not that. That's not what I'm talking about here. All right. Once you recognize this truth, you realize all that stuff is irrelevant, and the Creator, the Father, is going to take care of you. And you're going to be at points of stress and worry, like, oh my God, should I make this move? Don't make any move. Just stay still, be patient, and rest in Him who gave you life. 100%. Because He gave you life for a reason. He didn't give you a life for no reason. The good news of Jesus is that you are an eternal being. You do not die. Death is only an illusion. And I'll prove it to you. I'm going to go hang on. They're going to put me on this cross, and I'll be back in 3 days. And his boys didn't believe him. They ran away when they put him on the cross. They ran away. I'm out. They denied him. They ran away. And then something happened in them. Right? Because, listen, in all actuality, we wouldn't have Christianity without the concept of Jesus. And that's truth. But Christianity is not Jesus. Christianity is, just like I say, is the world. It's a carbon copy of the truth. Right? It's a just like all religions. Most religions are set up to highlight people in the religion, the bishops, the cardinals, the pastors, this one, the that one, that think they have authority over someone else. Jesus didn't listen. Jesus washed his boys' feet before he went to the cross. He washed their feet to prove the point of what his message is. You want to be the greatest up there, then be the least here. Because the greatest here is going to be the least there. Just means we're all going to be on an even plateau. No one's above anyone else. No one's below anyone else. That's true sin. That's sin. Everything else falls in that. Right? Just like unconditional love. Who are you stealing from if you unconditionally love everyone? Unconditional love? Why are you not honoring your mother and father then if they're showing you the same unconditional love? Unconditional love? Would you go and lust after your neighbor's wife? Unconditional love? Would you go and kill someone? Unconditional love? And knowing the true creator, and that's what he stands for, would you make a cross? Would you make a statue that says, oh, this is unconditional love? Right? Love and life have the same 4 letters. Even evil does too. But you know, to live is just to do evil. Right? And Jesus said that anyone who loses their life to gain it, and anyone that loses his life for me will never die. Right? It's either you're dying to live, you're dying to evil, or you're living to die. It's as simple, like, right? It's either you're dying to live or you're living to die. Right? Jesus went to the cross to show you the way out and truly define what sin is. And what was sin in that situation where someone thought they had the authority to put Jesus on a cross? In one side of it, it was because of their ruler, their God, their Caesar. And on the other side of it, it was because of their ignorance and arrogance. And feeling that Jesus was rebelling against their religion, but yet bringing them the truth. Because even Paul couldn't deny that. Paul had to erase Israel. He had to, in essence. He kept the comparison. That's the old wineskin. He kept that comparison. He kept that link, but there was no true link. Right? The Jews always came up to Jesus. Our father is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Jesus responded to him, your fathers are dead. Mine is alive. And Abraham was excited for the day to me coming into this world. You don't get it, right? Like, listen, Israel was captivated for how many years in Egypt? And you don't think their mind has changed? Right? Moses comes down with the 10 commandments and they're already worshiping the Egyptian cow again. Come on. Listen. And I say that all the time too. You just got to do your research, right? If you believe what you believe, cool. Believe what you believe. But you can't say your belief is the 100% belief if you don't know what any other belief is saying. And when you start researching those other things, you'll see a lot of similarities in what they're saying. And then you start getting the picture of how things became how they were. Right? Just like the Gospel of Thomas, the 114 sayings, I got to do, because I think I only did maybe 2 or 3 videos on it. And we only got to like maybe 50 or 75 of the sayings. I'm going to do another video in the next few days with Thomas, because, a TikTok got crazy. I put up the part where Jesus said, seek until you find, and don't stop seeking. Seek until you find, and don't stop seeking until you become hold on, I'm gonna just read it to you. I'm gonna just read it to you. What the hell? No, not that. Maybe that. Maybe this. Maybe this. Okay. Hurry up. What the hell is... Oh. Alright, let's see here. So, and he said, whoever discovers what these sayings mean will not taste death. So that's the title of the 114 sayings of Thomas. So it's saying whoever gets all these 114 sayings will not taste death. Right? And I'm pretty close to all of them. I think there's like 2 or 3 that that's why I want to go back into it. So Jesus said, seek and do not stop seeking until you find. When you find, you will be troubled, dismayed, angry. When you are troubled, you will marvel and you will rule over all. Okay. Now, I know I did a video on this verse for sure, but seek and do not stop seeking until you find. So what does that mean? That means don't stop at the shit that tickles your ears. Don't stop in Christianity because it says, oh, Jesus died for your sins and for you to be forgiven and to have salvation. Though, in essence, that's kind of true. That's not 100% accurate. All right. Jesus did not die to be your how can I put this? To be your Band-Aid, so to speak. So you can do whatever you want and just mess up, right? Jesus, when he healed people, he said, go and sin no more. So that means there's a point where you can come in your life that there is no more sin. And that's the point we need to be driving towards. Okay. How do you, I told you what sin is. I promise you, truth stands alone. Sin is life over profit or profit over life, period. Thinking you're better or worse than anybody or anyone else. Thinking, oh, I'm better because I'm a lawyer and I got all these degrees and this, that, and the third, or I'm a scientist and I have a PhD. That means absolutely nothing in God's world. Just want you to know that. And more importantly, in the whole scripture, the New Testament to the Old Testament, all it says is never stand on man's understanding. Man's understanding is flawed. Absolutely 100% flawed. Okay, so just I want you to understand that. Okay, all man, how would they know? Right? You're taking a word from a guy that's saying, hey, the sun is 93 million miles away, looking through a telescope, telling you that this planet is made of gases and this planet is through a telescope. This is what we look at in the kaleidoscope. That's what you see. I'm not asking you to lay in the grass and tell me what the fucking clouds look like. You're supposed to be telling me some accurate information. You telling me some other shit that can't be true. All right. All you gotta do is look on YouTube for the videos where they got a 360 camera and it's following the sun around in the sky the whole day. One camera, one angle, circling with the sun. Mostly you'll find that in like Antarctica or like in Canada, deep in Canada, where they got the camera that's following that damn sun in the sky all day long. Or 24 hours. Because there's places that don't know the sun don't go down. All right. And when you really find that truth, this is how you know you're on the right path for truth. Because the shit you're going to be reading is going to conflict with you. Did you hear me? The shit that you're going to be reading, it's almost like if I said something that you're like, what? That's what I'm talking about. He don't know what he's talking. That ain't what it says. That's what I'm talking about. Right? You're going to be troubled because you're going to realize everything is a freaking lie. Everything in this physical world is meant to mislead you into a different direction. As simple as that. By yourself, though, you're misleading yourself. That's the whole thing. You're misleading. You're believing in this person. You're accepting this truth that this dude is saying, even though you didn't see it for yourself. But then most of the arguments on why I can't believe in God and I'm an atheist is because I can't see God, but you can't see what half the scientists are doing. You can't confirm anything they're saying, right? It's almost like the first moon landing. How many people said in the debate, the moon landing debate, how many people you said saw the moon landing on the other side, like where they're saying, yes, we landed on the moon. I saw it. Listen, first of all, not many people had TVs at the time. And what people are missing is they all had radios on. The only people that saw the shuttle launch off is the people that worked for NASA at the time. And the special news reporters, okay? So look at like it's gonna like you're gonna find and you're gonna be troubled because you're like, why would they lie to me? But you'll sit there and bitch about the government. Okay, that's why they would lie. Because listen, and people say it's about money, it's about depopulation. Why? That doesn't even make sense. Doesn't make sense. They could have did that at any given time. They already control all the fucking money. They already control all the gold. They control everything in our lives. So what would be the reason to depopulate or any other conspiracy bullshit you're bringing up? Or New World Order? The New World, listen, and if you didn't know, and I think I said this in one of my last 2 videos, the New World Order has happened already. Ready, right? When that New World Order gets together and changes the freaking calendar from New Year's being in March to now New Year's being in January 1st, you think it hasn't taken over? Did God come down and say, hey man, you guys are messing with the wrong dates, we got to switch this up, we got to line this up with Easter? Come on, listen, you got to wake up to that's for sure. Hopefully this video was, because my friend asked me to make the video. My brother asked me to make the video. He wanted me to do a video on what I believe truth is and just explain it. And hopefully I did that in this video. I'll do a summary real quick. I believe in a creator. I don't know if it's male or female. That's irrelevant to our situation, so to speak. I believe in that creator. I believe that creator is an unconditional, loving creator. How do I know that? Because no matter what I read in reference to the all, right? And I'm talking about, I'm reading about other gods too, and their bottom line. Okay, their top of the top. And it all comes to that unconditional love. I believe in the person of Jesus. Why? Because all he spoke was that unconditional love for your enemies, love for this. How many Christians are loving their enemies? How many Christian organizations or governments are responsible for war? Right? That's where you see the contradiction. I believe we're all here for a purpose. Right? I don't think there's and I could be wrong, but I don't believe that. I believe that the creator is responsible for every single being that was created. And Satan himself. And I believe that every single being will come to know the unconditional love of that creator. Right? I already believe we live in hell. Heaven is a mind state, as hell is a mind state, and we're living the hell mind state now because there's profit over life. In regards to in profit over life, meaning we look at the person living the tribe life, the person living in a little village somewhere in the middle of the rainforest, and we're saying they're primitive, but yet we're controlled by our things. Right. And listen, you bring one of those people on the outside and you or in that little village and you bring them out to here to where we are, and they're going to be, oh, wow. And they're going to want it. And that's, and they're going to want it for themselves. Right. And they're going to come and play the game. They're going to come play the game of Monopoly. They're going to come play the game of life. Right? Listen, and not that I want to take away from anyone that says we're all kings and queens, but do you know what the definition of king and queen is? And actually, I'm going to look it up while I got y'all still. I'm going to look it up real quick, right? Because I'm curious on what the definition is, because my point is made only on that definition. Fine. All right. So, king, the male ruler of an independent state, especially one who inherits the position by right of birth. The most important chess piece, of which each player has one, which the opponent has to checkmate in order to win. The king can move in any direction. Okay. What does being a king mean? A male sovereign or monarch, a man who holds by life, tenure, and usually by hereditary hereditary right, the chief authority over a country and people. Okay. And they put God or Christ, a person or thing, preeminent in its class, a king of actors. All right. There's a point. There's a point, guys. Hold on. Just define queen real quick. Queen, the female ruler of an independent state, especially one who inherits the position by right of birth. The most powerful chess piece that each player has. Behave in an unpleasantly superior way towards someone. What does it mean to be called a queen? Let's see what that is. A queen is defined as a girl who is very important or successful at something. An example of a queen is someone successful at fashion. A queen of fashion. The definition of a queen is a card or a playing piece on the board. All right. So do you understand what that says? A king is a ruler of a people group or a country. A queen rules by his side, both being authority over other people. If I tell you that Jesus was preaching a kingless system, would you believe me? Pontius Pilate asked Jesus, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus said, "You say I am." The Jews got false witnesses to say that Jesus claimed to be God. False witnesses claiming Jesus claimed to be God, and they killed him for it. They even picked up stones to stone him to death for saying that him and the Father are one. And his response to him was, "But doesn't he say the same about you in Psalm 82? My truth is unconditional love for all of us, and that's how I walk in life. I have unconditional love for everyone I come across, even more now than ever. When I meet a stranger and they're starting to talk to me, I listen. All right, I don't just start talking and like, hey, do you believe? No, I want to hear what they got to say, and then there's other, there's times in my life that random people used to come up to me and say, "What's life about?" And I used to start going in on my perspective and what I've experienced at that time. At that time, it was more Bible talk. Now, I want it to be less Bible talk. I only use the Bible talk because, growing up in America, in a Christian world, pretty much, that's all we know. And though Christianity may not be the way to God, it is a way in the path on getting to God. What does that mean? Because it brings you insight on Jesus. It gives you insight on how a religion is even born. Christianity is the youngest religion as far as mainstream religion. And though people may say, no, it's Islam. Islam's been around since Ishmael. Please understand that. It was not Muhammad who brought Muslims into the world. Now, Muhammad may have put his people on the map, so to speak, in his era. Yes, absolutely. They were the top traders. So yes, he gave them a name for themselves at that time. Yes. But as far as building the whole Islam nation, no. That's Ishmael. That's the promise from that creator, or from Yahweh to Ishmael. You're going to have 12 tribes. You're going to be a thorn in the world's side. So, my truth is everyone's meant for something. Everyone's meant for something. If there was a rapture, I wouldn't even want to be raptured away. I'd rather stay behind and help those find the way. All right, to eternity, because that's the good news. You are an eternal being. Your energy never dies. Do you want to stay who you are today? Seek that truth. Seek the truth, and you're going to find it. You're going to find it. You're going to start finding out who you are. Figure out what makes you angry, what makes you sad, right? Get into it. Get in. Listen, I wouldn't tell you anything that I haven't done or any direction I didn't go in. Okay, that's why I bring up the books I read, so maybe you'll be inspired to go check out those books, right? If you never read anything from the Thomas thing, go, please. Some things you're gonna be like, oh shit, I know what that means. I know what that means. And then it's gonna come to points where it's like, oh, what the hell does that mean? Straight up. And it's gonna be the things you're gonna be like, yeah, I know what that means. It's gonna be stuff you've seen in the other gospels, in the popular views of it. So you're gonna see them. All right. And what because like I said, I put this on TikTok, so you can imagine the comments and stuff. But a lot of people saying it's false and this. Let me just break down the Gospel of Thomas, the 114 sayings, real quick. Number one, there was rumors of this book for hundreds of years. There was a book. That book is I guess recorded or dated to 60 AD. So right around the same times the other gospels were written. More authentic because it has 114 sayings accounted to Jesus, not stories, not births, not none of that. It's not telling you a story. It's telling you what Jesus said. They found a copy of these 114 sayings in the Dead Sea Scrolls and within the Nag Hammadi, Texas. Now, hopefully, those are two separate situations of where they found some old transcripts and literature. I want to say I'm pretty sure that one of them was on a scroll and the other was in a codex, with Christians only wrote in codexes. They never wrote in scrolls. Or the Christians of what we know of today, I guess. Because I think the Essenes and the Gnostics, they wrote on scrolls in some cases. So also with the book, look it up too. Look up the Book of Thomas or the Gospel of Thomas, 114 sayings, because there's two different Gospels of Thomas. One is one where it gives you some stories of when Jesus was a kid, which I can believe those stories too. And it shows like Jesus killing people and stuff like that. But at the end of the story, Jesus, everyone comes back to life at the end of the story. So don't think like to the end, everyone came back to life. Okay, everyone was healed, everyone was back. It was like just some, I don't know, like you got to read it. I don't want to even comment on it. But also the 114 sayings are a source used to confirm the other gospels. So this is how important this Gospel of Thomas 114 sayings is. It also, even though they don't have the source Q, so if you didn't know, they think Matthew and Luke, even though they shared, they think, they assume they shared, or they both had a copy of Mark when they wrote their books. But also there was a couple other sources. One of those sources happened, they call it Q, the Q source. The Gospel of Thomas 114 sayings confirms the Q source. So that's how, listen. So no matter what the comments, that's false, it's false scripture, this, that, other thing. Listen, then why would they use it for confirmation of everything else? That's all I'm saying. All right, so that's how important that Gospel of Thomas 114 sayings is, that it confirms Christian historians, okay, and theologians and all those scholarly people and secular ones. So I'm just saying, it's almost like thinking Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Old Testament. Let's see. I'm gonna be working on another video too, though, because I really I want to just have a paragraph. I don't even know, but I'm probably doing another video on the truth that I know. All right, and this is my truth. I'm not saying it's true for you. It's true for me. I can't. I'm not gonna sit here. See, even to worshiping too, right? So I had friends back in the day when I used to always, spit the Bible stuff. Used to say to me, "So when we die, we're just gonna go up to heaven and just bow down and worship and sing songs to the Creator?" No. Who said that? Right? But that's the perception that somebody, like, especially the Catholic Church, gives you that type of perspective. Like, kneel, stand, pray, kneel, stand, pray. It gives you that perception, but that's not the case. To worship the Father is to unconditionally love everyone. Do you not get that? Like, Jesus worshiped the Father. How? Did it was the New Testament or the four Gospels a whole bunch of Jesus praying? Jesus was praying over here. Jesus started praying over here. Jesus was praying over here. Jesus was praying over there. Jesus prayed. No. Says Jesus spoke. Jesus spoke. Jesus healed everyone in the town. Jesus taught his boys how to heal, sent them out to go heal. Everything Jesus did was worshiping the Father. To the right then, Jesus said it, to the least of those you do it for, you're doing it for me. That's what the Father's saying, to the least of these people in the world that you may think is evil. I love them too. And just so you don't think that I love them any less, or I love them any more than you, or love you more than them, you're just as guilty as the most judgmental thing you can guilt them on. You're just as guilty as everyone else that you think is evil. Right? And I always bring up war. But look, when we go to war with another people group, are people not dying on both sides? Are we not having a memorial here and they're having a memorial there? Are they not honoring their fallen? Are we not honoring ours? And the sad truth of the whole situation is we're honoring something that was in vain. Because the people that started the war, the people that want to fight this war, aren't the people that are fighting. Those people that are fighting on false pretenses of what their people groups and their leaders are telling them. Right? You can't be for the Father and be for war. And that's you can't be for the Father and be proud to be American. And plus, what are you proud to be? In 1776, there was no rights for women or minorities or people indebted to or enslaved because of debt. Right? And debt put people as slaves. Now, did people take advantage of that? Yeah. There's even a story in the Bible about it with Jacob, right? When he went to his uncle's house, when his mom sent him away because Esau was going to kill him for taking his birthright. And Jacob went to his mother's brother's house, and he fell in love with a woman, his uncle's daughter, and he wanted to marry her. And Jacob, being the con man that he was, and I think his name was Laban, his uncle Laban was just the same kind of, like, where he got his personality from, so to speak. Like, if he wasn't his sister's brother, so to speak, they were both con men. And Jacob was like, yeah, I want to marry your daughter. I'll work for you. He was like, all right, yeah, work for me for 7 years. You'll get her hand in marriage. The time came up. They brought him his wife. And it wasn't who he expected it to be when he took the veil off. It was her sister, Leah. And then the dad was like, hey, well, if you work for me for another 7 years, I'll give you Rachel. I'm pretty sure Rebecca or Rachel. I'll give you her. And Jacob was like, all right. And then it came that time. And look, his uncle was prospering this whole time with Jacob. Right? So he was like, all right, well, if you work for me for another 7 years, why would you? Because Jacob was ready to leave, take his 2 wives, and he was ready to be out. He said, well, man, if you work for me for another 7 years, you could take this and that and other. So they made a deal, and then Jacob did something magical to some type of something with the livestock, and made a deal with his uncle and said, hey, I'll take all the blemished sheep and you take all the pure ones. And then Jacob did something to make all of them look blemished. This witchcraft shit he was doing, I guess. And the flock started depleting on the uncle's side, and the uncle's sons got pissed off, like Jacob is prospering and we're not. Like there's a whole bunch going on there. But the point of that is, look what they were doing with their women, right? The father was like, yeah, all right, you can have this daughter work for me for this amount of time in debt, right? As far as slavery over here in America, what would happen is the person that's enslaved would be that, be paying off their debt, so to speak, right? And but then the master would give them a wife or a husband, and then they would have kids. So now when the guy paid his debt, and hear me out, when the guy would pay his debt off, he was free, right? Right. He was free to go where he wanted to go. But now he's got a family and he's got kids. So now he could still leave because the master said, I gave you that wife. I gave you that husband. And now what happens? Right? The guy leaves or stays? And in most cases, he stays. He doesn't want to leave his wife or his kids. And that's us in our society. We're just enslaved to ourselves, so to speak. And they use us with our families and our kids to keep it going. Right? When I stopped celebrating Christmas, most people in my life was like, well, but what about the kids? Perfect example of what I'm meaning by that. What about the kids? So let's lie to the kids. Let's tell them there's a freaking Santa Claus. And then when they find out it's not a Santa Claus, they look at me, the parent, as like, you lying mother, other. What else you lie to me about? You want me to believe in you talking about the Father, the Creator, the source of life, but you got me believing in a Santa Claus? So I made the mistake with my oldest, but I didn't make the mistake with my daughter, the second, okay, or the son after her, and I'm not gonna make the mistake with my little daughter here now. Okay, they're all gonna know that all these holidays are nothing, even to our birthdays. What is your birthday if you die and you go into eternity? What is your damn birthday, and why are you so like, I want to celebrate my birthday? Come on, man, that's putting you on a pedestal, right? That's almost like people in the religious world saying Jesus is God. It's putting Jesus on a pedestal when everything that came out of Jesus' mouth was worshiping his Father, putting him on the pedestal. I can't do this without my Father. There's nothing I'm doing that my Father ain't telling me to do. My father. Right? And most of the time, Jesus said, hey, by your own faith be healed. Go and sin no more. So was Jesus healing you, or was he saying, hey, your faith healed you? Like the woman that just touched his garment and got healed? Just saying. But hopefully this was a good video. It cleared, it was hopefully good enough to where you understand what I believe, right? Everyone's meant for something. There's not one of us irrelevant to the situation. And quite honestly, I believe all of us have to get it at the same time. That's the whole Christ awakening. Everyone, the majority of us get it at the same time. I really think it's all of us. But if there's only because the road is narrow and only a few find it. And if that's the case, let's get these few together. All right. And at least have somewhere for someone else to go that don't see it yet. Right. And be able to put ourselves in a position where we can help show that unconditional love off of what the Father brings to us. And I'm not talking about money and stuff like that. So if you're woke and you understand what I'm saying, email me onlybythefather@gmail. Message me, whatever contact you want to do. I do have, I think in About Me, there's my email or something there. So just know that, right? My ultimate truth is unconditional love as far as my Creator. And we're the child of that Creator that all shared his life. If he had a child, it was life, and we share all that life. So that's what I believe. And we all can walk on water, heal people, and all that good stuff as soon as we free these minds. And listen, when I get it, you'll be the first to know. I'll tell you that much. You'll be the first to know, baby. Okay? Because listen, and I'm not going to say no mysterious shit has happened in my life, but as far as like healing and stuff like that. But I'm just saying that I need to walk on water and stuff. Or you never know when you're healing anyway. You never know. You could just help somebody, a stranger, and all of a sudden they're healed. God bless you. You're God sent. Like, You'd be surprised, man. That positivity, that unconditional love, understanding that forgive them for they know not what they do, because no one does. No one knows what they're doing. Though we all know the truth, because we all have that voice like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable about this one. We still make our own decisions to go the route we go due to fear of the world and what we would lose, or through the love of what we see and have found with the creator. Because if they're telling you there's a creator that you should fear, listen, God is not a leader of fear. He does not lead with fear, by fear, or discipline in fear. Right? True, we wouldn't know what joy was unless we went through pain. But fear is nothing but an illusion, just like death. Yes, we may die in this physical world, but we don't die. It's as simple as that. Yes, this flesh may die, it fades away. We know that. We've seen dead people. So we know that. But you don't die. You don't die. Especially once you get to know who that you is. I really think we only get one shot at it. But I can go with the premise that we repeat it. We forget again and we come back in the cycle. I can't disagree with that. I just think we just only have one shot at it. I think like at the end of your life, and I could be wrong. I you know what that my perspective on that is like that's what I'm doing now. Like I want this is where I end. Right? If there was a cycle, this is the end right here. This is the point. This is the part of the cycle or wherever, whatever. This is the end for me because I'm staying where I am, and I'm going with the foot. There's nothing else I could do. Nothing else. Like I could not have no money. I could have no place to live. I don't even care. I know the Father's gonna provide for me, and I guess that's a different story because I could definitely go into that all day of how I was homeless on purpose, didn't come across hard times, or not, just was done with the world at like 20 something years old too, 26. I was like, I'm done with the world. Couldn't like I was tired of being the made up me. I was tired. See, so like in this video, I was saying my real name is Nakia. My world name, who I made, is named Nick. Right? No, what I mean by that is there was a point, like a decade in my life, that no one knew my name was Nakia at all. Not even the police. I used to, because I get in a little bit of trouble, and I used to be bad. Not bad like that, but I used to be a bad boy. But either way, I got a police report with Nicholas on it. Okay, that's how much I was named. That's how Nick was born. Okay, that's how Nick was born, and that's like I like to call Nick that, negative side of me, so to speak, and Nakia is that positive side of me, right? And I have to merge the two. Almost like the movie Venom, right? There was in that first one, the newest one. I like that one. Where Venom, the guy was like, dude, you can't be eating people like this. And he was like, and they made a deal, you could only eat evil people. Like, that's what you gotta, like, you kind of gotta put yourself in that perspective. Like, listen, we all have a dark side and we all have the light within us. We all have a dark side and we all have the light within us. Right? And usually your dark side is acquainted with your ego, thinking you're the shit. Why shouldn't I have that? F that person, or let me just step right over him. Or what's the big deal? Right? Let me, you know what? It's not even worth the hassle. Right? I'll wait in traffic. I'll wait in a line. I don't care. Like, my time is time, and time runs. I walk. Time is an illusion. It's a way to measure time. Right? And they got us measuring time on some other crap. Like some seriously other disillusioned concept, right? And I haven't figured that one out yet. The only thing I can figure out about that, as far as the whole conspiracy theory thing, is they just need us to all take the mark of the beast. All of us aren't down with the mark of the beast at the moment, right? Even though we live the mark of the beast, we're more forced into this mark of the beast, right? And they can't force us in. They can't, even though they didn't force us, because we're doing it by choice. But and through the fear of not having a job and not being able to have money to put food on it, like that's their tactics, right? Why do you think the hokey pokey is starting to become more where people are like going that white only, black only bathroom situation? Though these only vax or non-vax is doing it at my concert place too. This or not, right? And you should boycott those places. Anyone doing it, boycott, because that's your freedom being taken, right? It's not about, no one should mandate you to do anything. That's the bottom line of that. And I'm gonna end it there. I'm gonna end it with that. And so, like I said, I made this video for my boy to explain like my truth. So Malik, if you see this, and it's not just email me and let me know where I'm slipping on, because you know how I get into those rants, my friend. But peace be with you guys, wholeness to you always, and I love you guys. Thanks for hanging in there, my two friends that hung in there with me. Thanks for the likes. This was a long one tonight. And this is my second video of the day. Crazy. I'm still with, like, now I gotta maybe break down the early church father video into like segments. So I know I was gonna put that out today, but I gotta tweak it some more. There's like I want to give you the full. So I might do like maybe a few and then do a part 2, so to speak, and then do a few more, because I want to break down what they're I want to break down who they are. How do we know of them? What they're accounted for? What was their perspective of Jesus? And all that other good stuff. Right? I want to really like focus in on who these early church fathers were and their stand. Like right now, I was working on the Clement of Rome, which there's actually 2 Clements. So there's Clement of Alexandria and there's Clement of Rome. So I was doing all the Clement of Rome today, and listen, he was a disciple of Paul. So what side he stood by? Paul's belief, right? Now he didn't say Jesus; he stood by what Paul believed. So that's why I'm slowing it up a little bit. So probably in the next couple of days it'll come out, and you obviously know there'll be Clement of Rome in the first one. But I want to give you their perspective, their view of Christianity and what it is, where they came from, what they're accountable for writing. Like the dude Clement of Rome wrote letters to Corinthians too. All right. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but they're out of the 13 letters that are accounted for Paul writing, only 6 or 7 of them are really officially claimed to be his. So yeah, I'm coming. So in the next few days, I'll have that early church father thing going. What's up, freedom fighter? I am everywhere. It's like crazy today. Today was a crazy day. It's those damn comments on TikTok. Because then I got to respond to the comment, and like, they give you only a limited characters, and I can't say what I have to say. So I got to make a video saying what I have to say. And then you know how I go in and I start rambling. Next thing you know, I'm making like part 3s because I can't shut up. That's why I'm trying to direct more people to this, because I have trouble with my live anyway. It never shows me anybody that's on or anything. But right, I'm here to help you guys get the truth. Right, I have nothing to lose or gain from bringing this out here. If anything, they'll probably shoot me or something sooner or later, because it'd be insane. Yeah, even I can't read the comments either. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I just had live on when I started this, and I had no comments. I didn't know anybody was in anything. And then it's like when I ended it, it said I had like 200 people watching or something. And I didn't see none of that. It might be my phone though. I gotta get a new phone. I think I gotta upgrade my phone or something. I don't know what it is. I wish I could just do TikTok on my damn PC. I'll link it. It should be linked with this because I linked my YouTube with the TikTok. It don't make sense. Either way, remember there's 7.6 billion ways to get to the truth. And that just means the population of the world, and it's your individual path to get to that, your truth, right? My truth is my truth. I can't say it's true for you. I can't say it's not true for you, right? I can't even bring you there. If you ever put any, like, it's almost like a Buddhist monk. A Buddhist monk will, the way he answers question is usually with a question. Right? So like, hey, how do I stop desiring? Right? Stop desiring. And then you start desiring to stop desiring. So you never stop desiring. Right? So you gotta definitely come to a point where you stop desiring. That I'm at that point. Like, I don't desire anything. Now, am I saying, oh shoot, I feel like some pizza today, let me get some pizza? I'm not saying that. I'm talking about I don't like what comes, it comes, and what doesn't, doesn't. Right? I try not to make plans. I do everything. Like, I'm a spontaneous dude anyway. I try not to make plans. I don't even know how to, like, I just don't. There's no schedule. Right? I kind of just want to be like just walk around the world and just talk to people like I did when I made myself homeless. Just like next video, I'll bring up the whole homeless thing and everything that happened through that 18 months. I wish they had these platforms then, because then you would just have video footage of it all, because that's how awesome it was. And definitely the Father proved himself to me as an adult in that, like beyond the reasonable doubt, in that journey that I took for those 18 months. But I could just tell you how I got there, right? As far as the truth goes, I could tell you I didn't, like, when they told me not to read books at one time, I can't read that one. And I used to tell friends, no, don't read the Book of Enoch. Don't read that. You ain't supposed to read that. And they used to say the same reasons they did, right? Until I said, you know what? How can I even say don't read it if I don't know what's not to read in it? So I read it. And then come to find out, shit, this ain't half bad, right? Especially when you read the Nag Hammadi texts, and that's like the if you don't know what that is, right before I end this video, I'll give you some titles of some of the books in the Nag Hammadi texts, right? The Prayer of the Apostle Paul, the Secret Book of James, the Gospel of Truth, the Secret Book of John, the Gospel of Thomas with the Greek Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Philip. Forgot he was a disciple, huh? The Nature of the Rulers, the Origin of the World, the Book of Thomas, the Wisdom of Jesus Christ, the Dialogue of the Savior, the Revelation of Paul, the First Revelation of James, the Second Revelation of James, the Revelation of Adam, the Acts of Peter and the 12 Apostles, the concept of our great power, the Revelation of Peter again, the teachings of Sylvanus, the three steels of Seth, the letter of Peter to Philip, Melchizedek, the thought of Noria, the testimony of truth. Like, these are like, if those, like the titles, like when I Gospel of Jesus, let me get that. Let me read that one. The Gospel of Truth. Woo! Let me get in there. Right. And then you find out that they're not much different when it comes to Jesus, and what the Gospels in the Bible teaches you is not much different. It's the same concept of his unconditional love for your enemies, the same thing. The same thing. The difference with the Nag Hammadi texts, it gets into it's talking more about your insides. Like that's, and it tells you a story of the devil too. Which is kind of, and I hate to say it, like, not that I really hate to say it, because truth stands alone, but it gives you, when I say Satan ain't evil, is mostly because of what I read of Satan in the Nag Hammadi texts. Okay, he's just in ignorance. He's in error, so to speak. And I don't even think that's the case. I think the creator is a very powerful creator, unconditional lover, and he gave Satan his right to do you, because I want to know my people love me. Right? So it's not like, how can Satan be evil in essence, where he's putting us to the test? Do you really love God? Are you really going to stand strong and be sick and disregard all the medicines of the world because you believe in God? Are you going to, when you coming up to hard times and you can't pay your rent, are you going to just stand and rest in him who gave you life? Or are you going to start struggling and, can I sell drugs? Can I go rob a bank? Can I sell my body? What are you willing to sacrifice? When the Father says, I take care of everything else in the world that you have no control over, what makes you think I won't take care of you? Right? Man did not make hot water. Man didn't make drinking water. Man, well, I guess now man does control weather. They definitely do that. So there's like I said, the world is just a carbon copy of what truth really is. And that's how I'm going to end it with there. The world is just a carbon copy of what the truth really is. And like a more simplified version is money is false blessings of the world, or better in Jesus' words. Let me see that coin. Oh, there's Caesar's on it. Give Caesar's what is Caesar's, but give God's what is God's. Word. So if you're still here, Ray Dripper, Satan and Yalabroth are the same. Don't forget, and you know the book now. So I know you know the book. Yalabroth, remember what he said? I am God, and no one else is above me in that story. And all of a sudden, a light shot from the sky, right? So in the Nag Hammadi Texas, when it's talking about Yalabroth makes a statement to his sons and daughters, so to speak. And he says, I am God, and no one else is above me. And the next thing you know, a flash of lightning comes out of the sky, and all of a sudden, Yalabroth remembered there was someone before him. And when they seen that light, everyone saw the image. And when it came to Yalabroth in that story, him and his angels, so to speak, or him and his people wanted to recreate what they saw, and they tried to make it out of the clay of the earth, but it couldn't move. And then Yalabroth, so there's Sophia, which is the Holy Spirit, as far as Yalabroth's creator, so to speak, and she told him to breathe into the clay, and he breathed into the clay, and it had life. So it got the essence of life. Boop, boop. And that's what happened. And it shows you an imitation, right? And then there was one of Yalabroth's sons, Sabaoth, that said, hell no, there's somebody above you, obviously, Pop. I got to go serve him. And he got lifted up in the story. He got lifted up. And that's where Jesus and Christ come from, as far as Nag Hammadi, Texas go. All right. But always keep in mind, too, it's the same thing I say about the Bible with the Nag Hammadi text. Somebody wrote these. Okay. And being that it's in our hands, you still need your discernment when it comes to it. Okay. Because, like I said, no one really knows the truth. Most of these books are people's perspectives on what they feel is truth. So, yes. And am I saying none of them have seen the Father? I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying they probably most likely seen the Father, and they tried to write it down. And they wrote it down in their perception and their way of thinking, and what they knew they used to create their literature. It's almost the same as saying, hey, explain to me how you open and close your hand. And you can, right? I could Google it. How do you open and close your hand? And the mind sends out, this, and the nerve, and this goes around here, and so a signal shoots out, and babadoo, right? You can give like a 45-minute lecture on the process it is to open and close your hand, right? But what I'm asking is, tell me how to open and close your hand as fast as you open and close your hand. See, that's the mystery. Right? That's the truth that stands alone. That no one knows the truth. Why? Because you can say whatever the hell you want to say on open and close your hand, but you cannot explain to me how it happens like that. Like, think about it. Open and close your hand, right? You don't even have to think about opening and closing your hand. Your hand is already opening and closing. That's what I'm saying, right? Even with that, when I say your name to yourself and that voice in your head, that's where you're going with this. You're trying to figure out what that's about. How do I open and close my hand so instantaneously as I do it, with damn near not even thinking about it, it's just happening? Or you ever catch something or block something or dip out of something that you didn't know that was coming at first, but your instincts took over and you dipped? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You got to find that. Figure out what that is, because that's where the truth lies. And that understanding is where the truth lies. That's where the truth lies. right? And just like in that Thomas thing, once you seek until you find, don't stop seeking until you find. Don't stop at the shit that tickles your ears. If you were brought up as a Christian, go read Islam, go read some Hindu stuff, go read some Buddhist stuff, go read the atheist argument, go watch some damn debates, go to my man Bart Ehrman for sure. If you're definitely a Christian, go check out Bart Ehrman because he's a scholar in the Christian world, but yet he's an atheist. And he grew up in the church. All he wanted to do was defend the Bible and go that route, and he found some inconsistencies. Right? He will tell you that we have no originals of any ancient manuscript whatsoever. And most of the things that we do that we say are, from that time are copies of copies of copies. So no, we're so far removed from the original, it's not even funny. That's what makes the Gospel of Thomas, the 114 sayings, so important. In essence, as far as a good read. Because it's giving you 114 sayings. It ain't giving you no context or anything. It's telling you straight to the point. If you want to say it's 114 parables, say that. Where it's meant only for those with eyes to hear and or eyes to see and those ears to hear, absolutely. But like I was messaging back and forth with this guy on TikTok, because I think they said we were talking about the eyes and the ears, and they were saying how everyone doesn't have those eyes or ears. It's not that everyone doesn't have the eyes or ears. Everyone knows the truth. No one can bring you to the truth. Everything in our physical world that is saying is true is not true, but everyone knows the truth. Listen, it's like this with pastors, especially with pastors and historians. It's either they know the book is full of shit and they're gone with it, or they really don't know. They're deceived into believing that it is what they say it is. You understand what I just said there? There's people that either know the truth, absolute truth, that this book is not the infallible word of God, that this book is not inspired by God, it's written by man to deceive other men, or they're deceived themselves. Because there's no way you're going to tell me, even in what you believe or what a Christian believes or anyone who believes in the Yahweh of the Bible, in that Bible, and you're saying that it's the infallible word of God and this, that, and the third, then you're missing a whole bunch. You're missing the books they took out, why they take them out, who gave them authority to take them out. Did God come down here and say, hey, take these books out? Just like I say with the planets and the stars and stuff. Who named the stars? Did God come down here and say, hey, we're going to name this, 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 and this? We're going to name that Mars. We're going to name that Venus? No. Then they wouldn't be named after pagan gods. And that's where I'm going to end it. Okay? Because I said I'm going to end it probably 4 times in this damn video. All right, let me look at some comments before I bounce. Yes, we talked about Yalabrov. Yes, Puff, thank you. His mama. Who's his mama? oh, yes. Sophia, his mama. It must on Amazon. Absolutely. And I think it's cheap. I don't know if they went up in the price. I know it's like when I bought it was like 14 or 15 bucks. Yeah, everything is plagiarized pretty much. Yeah. But mostly, listen, it's not really necessarily. It is plagiarized. Like I can't even sugarcoat it. I don't think. And it's not necessarily plagiarized. It's more, see, if you know about Jewish tradition and history, or how they run their things in the Jewish world. First and foremost, I don't know if anyone knew, but each Jewish person writes their own Torah. Look into it. Look into their customs and traditions. They write their own Torah. They have a party and everything. They write the last line in it at the party. People sign the book. Crazy. Also in their heritage and their traditions and in their culture, they leave the book alone. They put the Genesis and everything to the side. And they give a rabbi's perspective or interpretation of the book. So I don't know if you knew that. Look at the world today as far as like, that's why I don't want to say plagiarize, because look at the world today and how many books, just go on Amazon, put in, or not even, go into Google, books about Jesus, and watch how many books pop up. All these books have different perspectives. All these books have different drives to them, different points they're trying to make, yet all in the same, and some of them disagree with each other, right? Even in Christianity. In Christianity, there's 40,000 different sects of Christianity, meaning that there's 40,000 different groups of Christians that believe in Jesus, but yet disagree with each other in some way, form, or fashion. Either they're post-rapture, pre-rapture, no rapture, rapture, yes a Trinity, no a Trinity. Jesus wasn't real. He was only spirit. He was flesh, and he was divine from birth. He was divine since he got baptized. He was divine this. But there's only one way, one truth, and one life. And I'll definitely end it with this. The one way, the one truth, and the one life, the only way to go is unconditional love. And to know it for sure is, listen, everything has to be, it has to be good for me, and it has to be good for you. And it has to be good for everyone else. Right? It has to be good for, it can't be, oh, well, they got it right and everyone else got it wrong. No. First of all, everybody can't be right, and everybody can definitely be wrong. Even in the next video I do, because this thing is over 2 hours. next, maybe even tomorrow, I'm going to read you the part where Jesus is saying the 3 common concepts or ideologies of what controls the world. And you're going to be shocked at what I read. You're going to be shocked at what I read. It's going to put Christianity and all of those similar to shame. It's going to put science to shame. It's just 3 things that he says that are the the main. Like, wait till tomorrow. Listen, I'm going to definitely do that tomorrow. Right, because look, Christianity is not of Jesus. That's why. Right? And why would they lie or make up their own Jesus in that world? Because they can't. It's see, my video earlier. Do I have it up now? No, I don't. My video earlier, I talked about the story of Balaam and Balak. All right, the king of Assyria, I'm pretty sure, or Syria, that went to Balaam, a known prophet of God, to hire Balaam to curse the children of Jacob or Israel. In that story, it says, I look at these people and see they are a part of no nation. They're living only for the Father, and they're outside. They're not living like any other nation. And the summary of the whole story was Balaam didn't curse them. Every time he opened his mouth, he blessed them. That's how the truth is. They can't not. The truth flows freely. The truth stands alone. It needs no recognition. It needs no authority. It needs nothing. It just flows. Okay. Now they're trying to control that flow by misleading you, saying Jesus is God. Jesus is the only Son of God. Jesus died for your sins because you wasn't worthy enough, even though you didn't ask to be here. And even in that little thing in the beginning of the video, when I said maybe you did, you still don't remember. So the bottom line of the root of it all, you don't know why you're here. Period. Okay. And that being said, you can't go by man's understanding. Man's understanding is only to put another man above you. Right? That was Jesus's problem. Go back to the script, the Gospels, and look at what the beef between Jesus and the religious leaders of the day were about. Okay? And there was only 2 of them that got it sort of with Jesus. Right? Ananias and Nicodemus. Because they were in I guess Joseph of Arimathea, but that was supposedly his uncle, of Jesus's uncle. So those 2, which were rabbis, which were Pharisees, they went to get the body of Jesus. So they got it. They got it a little bit. They just didn't go against the world because they recognized truth. There's nothing you can do to stop anything. Everything has to take its course on the way that it's going. It's up to you to every move you make be an unconditional loving one. As simple as that. Unconditional love for the creator and unconditional love for your neighbor, which your creator has unconditional love for. Simple as that. Especially if you believe Jesus died on the cross for your sins, then you have to believe that you have to forgive everyone else of their sins. Right? So the message isn't like, that's why I say it's not, it's truth, but it's twisted truth. It's truth that's pointing you to a hero. You need a hero. You need a savior when you only can save yourself. And that's the bottom line truth. You only can save yourself. Right? God helps those that help themselves. Right? You only can save yourself. God is not trying to force you to come to him. He wants you to come lovingly to him. Abraham was his friend, so to speak. Right? And listen, I believe the Old Testament is talking. There's two gods in that book. There's two gods in that book. Like, I'm too far past the time now, but there's two gods in that book. Those two gods are proven in the stories of David when he went, especially when he went to count the people. See, I'm thinking of other books now. Like the book of Adam and Eve, there was always two gods, so to speak. Satan kept coming and saying, God told me to tell you. And I'm going to get into that book too. One of these days, I'm going to get into that book. But, you know, me getting into all this scripture too is I watch a lot of YouTube videos like myself or people reading the book, or debates is good. Debates are awesome. Watch debates, man. Watch debates against the Christian versus the atheist, science versus the mystic versus the Christian, or vice versa, or the atheist versus this one, or Bart Ehrman in any debate he's in. And you're going to see he's going to be making sense. And the other ones aren't going to be able to answer his questions. And that's where it's going to be like, what? But he's a historian. He's a scholar too. What the hell? And Bart is going to be like, well, are you sure that was the book? Can the book have been written another time? Was that not a copy? And listen, they go in. So definitely, you always got to look at your enemy, right? And listen, one last thing I'm going to say, like, understand this is truth. No one that was trying to win a war, well, no, I can't say that, because everyone that was trying to win it won it. But the enemy has always won the wars. So the bad, evil side, if you want to call it that, on the side of any war you know about, evil has always won, right? As far as America and England, right? That was the whole, we had that war, right? Where we were like, we're not going red coat, blue coat shit, right? But England won. And you're like, no, they didn't. Right? If they didn't, we wouldn't have New York, New Hampshire, and any other place that's named New Jersey, and any other place that's named after some place in fucking England. Okay, we wouldn't have their kind of monarchy, so to speak, with the presidency and the Republican stuff, and they kept their little queen, but yet they still have the parliament. Come on, you gotta focus in, baby. And look, the best is the Book of Job is awesome. What was I gonna say? The best, the Book of Job, I could undoubtedly say can give you the best perception of truth as far as when it comes to Satan and the creator. 100%. And I don't know if they really fucked with that book. And the reason probably because it kind of supports their agenda, so to speak. Because it kind of like, if you read the book the wrong way, you can be scared of God and you start fearing death, and you're not looking at it for what it is. You're looking at it more like, why would God play games with Job, right? If you have that mentality when you read it, then it's not going to help you. You got to look at it definitely from a like, whoa, all right, this opened up. Satan's in heaven. The Father's in heaven. There's other sons of God in heaven. Like, he didn't say one son. Jesus, son of God, is here. Said sons of gods are there. So there's a lot of, and it gives you the clear perspective that Satan may not be evil, because Satan is saying, listen, Job don't love you, and I'll prove it to you, Father. It's like the prodigal son story. There was another brother that didn't think the other brother deserved anything the father was giving him. I love you guys. Wholeness be with you. I'm trying not to say peace no more, because peace is like being a piece of a puzzle, even though I agree with being a piece of a puzzle and we all got to put our pieces together. But I want to try to get into this wholeness, right? Because I don't want to say blessed no more either, or be blessed, because blessed means shit. First of all, blessed, broken down into its original word on how we got that word, is blood. And it's consecrated by blood. Like, you know how like the whole Jesus blood thing, that's what it means. It means you're consecrated by blood or something like that. And that's not, we're that I'm gonna have to stop. I'm gonna try to stop saying blessed. That's why everybody says bless you. See, that's the deception. When you say bless you, you're thinking you're giving a blessing, but you're not really giving a blessing, right? Life is nothing but lessons and blessings. All right. Peace, guys. Love you guys. Like I said, I'll be on tomorrow with the Nagamati stuff. We'll read a little bit of the Gospel of Jesus and the Yalabroth part, when Yalabroth says there's no one above me. And the description of how the light shot from the sky, what the image was, all that good stuff. We're going to go into that deep. So we'll do a little Nagamati researching tomorrow. One love, my brother. All right, guys. Till next time, this is Wisdom in Truth. Ba-doo.